In this presentation, I want to review some basic steps in formatting your paper. Now, for all of the assignments you submit, they do need to be properly formatted and they do need to adhere to APA guidelines. If you've not done so, I would recommend purchasing a copy of the most recent edition of the APA manual because this will be beneficial for you. So let's start with fonts. APA requires the use of the most basic fonts. Whether you like it or not, stick with the basics. Times New Roman or Arial are acceptable fonts. Additionally, the font size for your entire document should be size 12. This also includes everything on your title page as well. Now, line spacing. Sometimes with Microsoft Word, there's the setting that adds an additional space between lines when you press enter as you're typing. You'll need to change the setting because it's not consistent with double spacing. To change this, select Format, then Paragraph. And in the spacing section, take a look at the before and after areas. These should both be set to 0. If they're not, change them. Now take a look at the line spacing area. Set this to double. This way, your document will automatically double space each line as you type. Next, check your margins. Sometimes the margins are set to 1.5 inches instead of 1 inch. So to check this, select Format, then Document. And from here, just go ahead and make the changes in your margins if they're not set correctly. All of the margins need to be set to 1 inch. And a quick note on justifying your document. Some people like to use the justify text setting because it makes their text look neat and square. Don't do this. It may look neat, but it's not APA. Always keep your text aligned on the left. Now, let's set our running header. In APA formatting, the header on the first page is a little different than the header on the second page, and I'll show you how to set this up. Here I'm using Microsoft Word for Mac 2011. If you're using a different version, it may look different, but you can still get the same results. Let's say that the title of our paper is going to be Teaching Methods. We want this to show in our running head. So we double-click the header area of your document, locate the Options group, which is on the Header and Footer Tools tab, and we select the little checkbox for Different First Page. Now, in the header on the first page, go ahead and type running head and then your title. As I mentioned, ours is going to be Teaching Methods for our example. And be sure the font size and style in your running head matches the rest of your document. Now go to page 2 of your document. In the header on page 2, type Teaching Methods. The header on page 1 will include the words running head, while the header on page 2 and on subsequent pages only includes the title Teaching Methods. Also, you want to include page numbers. Set these to be included in the header on the right side of the page. So simply select Insert, then Page Numbers. For the position, select Top of Page or Header, and for alignment, select Right. Next, let's include the information needed on your title page or cover page. While at the top of a new page, go ahead and press Enter about 5 times to move towards the center of the page. And then you're going to type the entire title of your document. Oftentimes, the title in the header is an abbreviated version or shortened version of our full title, but I'll discuss that in just a moment. After you type the entire title, you include your full name, the course number, and the name of the class, the instructor's name, and lastly, the date. And this information should be centered on the page. Also, check to see if there's any additional information required from your instructor that needs to be included on your cover page. Now, you do not need to include an author's note section on your cover page. And when you begin, include a page break. This helps to prevent information from being accidentally included on the title page. So select Insert, Break, and Page Break to move to the top of the next page. And you will not need to include an abstract for most of your assignments unless specifically requested by your instructor. Abstracts are usually required for research papers, and since most of your assignments will not be research papers, you will not need to include an abstract, again, unless your instructor has requested otherwise. So, at the top of the new page, depending upon the assignment guidelines, you'll either enter the full title of your paper or you'll begin with a section heading. Now, although the title is included in the running head, sometimes if the title is lengthy, the running head title is a shortened or abbreviated version. So on the first page, if you're including your title, it should be the full title of your document and it should be centered. For example, let's say our paper was titled An Analysis of Pedagogical Teaching Methods for Determining Instructional Effectiveness. This full title would be included on the first page because it's too long to include in the running head. So our shortened version in the running head is simply teaching methods. So you type your full title and once again center it and be sure it's at the top of the page, and it should not be in bold type. Then you should include a section heading. Now get into the habit of creating section headings to better break up your paper, to guide the reader, and to organize your writing. Whether assignments specifically ask you to do this or not, create section headings in all of your papers. And so let's say our section heading is going to be background knowledge, because that's where we're going to begin writing about. We include this on the next line below our title, remembering that everything is double spaced, and so we don't need to add any additional spaces. And the section heading is always centered and always in bold type. Remember to change the setting so the remainder of your paper isn't also centered and in bold. Now you will follow the same formatting for all other section headings in your document, and they should all be centered on the page and they should all be in bold. Then, when you're done writing your paper, you'll want to include a reference page that properly lists any and all references mentioned in your document. An important note on plagiarism: if it's not your original thought, if you obtain information from another source, if you refer to another body of work, you must cite and reference it. When in doubt, cite. It's not worth risking disqualification from the university. References also add credibility to your writing. They help you support a position, and they demonstrate that you took some time and actually search for a scholarly resource, which is a skill in itself, to help convey your thoughts. So it's important to get into the habit of using scholarly references in all of your work. If you're not quite sure how to properly cite your references, either in text or on a reference page, you're still responsible for learning how to do this. This expectation is clear in all of your rubrics as well as all of your writing assignments. If you're not sure how to cite a reference or source, check the APA manual, check the APA style website, or any other resources that your instructors provided. On your reference page, include the heading References, and this should also be centered, but it should not be in bold type. Then follow the appropriate formatting for listing the references mentioned throughout your paper. And so these are some basic steps in formatting your paper. If you follow these directions, you can save your paper or save your document as a template, and you should have no problem adhering to other formatting expectations because it's already set. Of course, you'll want to follow any additional guidelines or expectations listed on your assignment or required by your instructor. Remember, if you're not sure about something, ask questions. Take care.